I'm retired. I'm done. I'm 46. I'm washed up. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a commentator. I am a talking head. How about this novel idea? Fight the dude that's actually wanting to fight. I don't want to fight Jon Jones. I have no desire to fight anyone. There could be a 25-pounder called me out to a fight and I'd be like, I don't really feel like doing that anymore. Those days are behind me. But how about fight the dude that's actually waiting to fight you? Tom Aspinall, right? Like I said, I'm done. Fight him. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Fight him. We had our experiences.
Daniel Cormier has shut down Jon Jones's latest challenge, making it clear he has no plans to return to the octagon. Responding to Jones's claim that he dominated Cormier more decisively at heavyweight than at light heavyweight, Cormier reminded fans that Jones had once declined a heavyweight fight with him, saying it would have favored Cormier too much. Now 46. Cormier says his focus is on the golf course, not the gym, and he laughed off Jones's remarks as baseless. He even took a playful shot at Jones's grammar, saying the statement was tough to take seriously. Instead of stirring up an old rivalry, Cormier advised Jones to set his sights on a potential matchup with Tom Aspinall, a fight that actually makes sense in today's UFC landscape.
Yeah, there's another quote I want you to react to. So Jones said this recently: I believe I beat Daniel Cormier at heavyweight worse than I beat him at light heavyweight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Molly,
let's have a real talk. Just you and I.
You're messy, Molly. Yeah, you and I and the rest of you.
You and I. Yeah.
Okay.
So you and me.
Let's make this true to everybody.
Okay.
Udonis will tell you, because he saw it. Udonis likes watching fighting. Jon Jones, when I was actively fighting, said I would not fight Daniel at heavyweight because it gives him an advantage. That's where he's best at. Molly, I'm 46 years old. I am retired. I swing a golf club. I swing a golf club in my free time. Yeah, he's out of his mind. I wish you saw the rest of the quote, because he said something. What did he say? It was like,
he said he fight better than I do.
It was much better or much worse.
It was not correct English.
It was bad English. Yeah. It was very bad English from Jon.
Cormier also questioned why Jon Jones is still revisiting their old rivalry, pointing out that those fights happened years ago and should stay in the past. While he admitted their clashes made for memorable moments and played a big role in his career, Cormier was quick to remind fans that their last encounter was nearly a decade ago. He made it clear there's no reason to stir up the emotions or drama from that chapter, saying their story has already been told and it's over.
I'm not a fighter. And hell, you won 2 fights. I don't know what the point to prove is by talking about what goes on between you and I. We have seen this story. We've had good fights. It was a great rivalry. I enjoyed it. It made me a boatload of money. It was good. That was 7 years ago. 8 years ago was the last time we fought. 8 years ago. You guys all know our history, right? I ain't got to walk that back for you. How I feel about what he did, how he feels about what I did. I don't have to walk all that back for you, right? I don't know if Jon didn't got asked a question. I don't know if he just randomly brought it up. I thought that lately we had been able to operate around each other better than we had without going.
Cormier addressed Jon Jones's suggestion that he's been avoiding him, pushing back by saying it's completely possible to live a full and meaningful life without stepping back into the cage, that he felt that their feud had settled down in recent years and that both had moved on, coexisting without the need to reignite old battles. Now fully retired and enjoying a life far removed from training camps and fight nights, Cormier dismissed the idea of revisiting what-if scenarios. He pointed out that he's been out of competition for 5 years, making any speculation about how things could have gone meaningless at this point.
I had a thing like I saw the other day. Jones was talking about how can people say that I'm ducking when I'm out here living my absolute best life. I don't know that is like the same thing. You can live a great life and not be fighting somebody, whatever. But in talking about what you would have done to me 7 years ago, 5 years.
Daniel Cormier had a direct response to Jon Jones's recent call-out. He's retired, and that's not changing. Now 46. Cormier made it clear that his days of stepping into the cage are over. His focus is on his work as a commentator and analyst, not preparing for another fight. He even joked that not even a smaller opponent could lure him back into competition. Rather than revisiting an old rivalry, Cormier encouraged Jones to look forward, not backward. He pointed to rising star Tom Aspinall, a legitimate heavyweight contender who's been patiently waiting for a shot, as a far more relevant challenge. According to Cormier, the sport has evolved, and it's time for the next generation to shine.
I'm 46. I'm washed up. I'm a broadcaster. I'm a commentator. I am a talking head. How about this novel idea? Fight the dude that's actually wanting to fight. I don't want to fight Jon Jones. I have no desire to fight anyone. There could be a 25-pounder called me out to a fight and I'd be like, I don't really feel like doing that anymore. Those days are behind me. But how about fight the dude that's actually waiting to fight you? Tom Aspinall. Right? Right? It's not about what may have happened back then. We want to know, as the consumer, what's going to happen today. What's going to happen today if Jon Jones fights Tom Aspinall? What I just said in the first 2 minutes of this video is all I'm going to talk about myself. I am telling you right now, I have no desire to fight this man. Am I afraid of this man? Absolutely not. But I'm not here to fight no more. There's a guy that's up to his neck in frustrations because he's been waiting for so long. And now you're out in Thailand doing a reality show that's going to take another month. We don't know when the fight's happening. Dana is getting bombarded with questions the other day on his live. When are we getting that? When are we getting that? He's still trying to find ways to tell people, calm down, it's coming. We want to know, when's the fight with the guy that actually wants...
Jon Jones will smoke Tom Aspinall.
I don't know, man.
He'll smoke Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall is athletic. I think Tom Aspinall will try to take the fight to Jon Jones. And it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'd rather see that fight over Alex Pereira.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I agree. I would like to see that fight over Alex, but come on, man. Aspinall is a great fighter. Yep. He's a good champion.
Aspinall.
That's what I said. Jon Jones will smoke Aspinall. Yeah. Smoke him.
I can't wait to see. I hope it happens. That's the fight that needs to happen. I think Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones needs to happen.
Why do you think there's so much friction there? Why do you think it's not happening? Why? Because we see.
I think Tom might have the best chance of anybody to beat Jon right now. With that being said, I still think Jon wins the fight just because of his wrestling. I think he puts Tom on his back and is able to nullify his jiu-jitsu from being top position with his elbows and control. What does Jon win to take that fight? He goes out there and beats Tom. Is it really going to make or break his career? I don't think
Jon is what I would describe is there's human beings that have different temperament and different minds and different mentality and a ruthless competitive drive that's almost terrifying to the ordinary person. That's Jon Jones. Jon Jones is a bad guy who's trying to be a good guy. Right. But that guy, if we were living 1,000 years ago, he would be on a horse with the biggest battle axe, waiting in the back, hacking heads off, and everybody would be running. And those people have always existed. These dominators have always existed. Yeah. But Jon is like a genuinely sensitive, intelligent guy who's trying to do the right thing. But he's a fucking...
Jon Jones, like, a lot of people consider him the GOAT, the best fighter ever to do it. The next hungry lion is Aspinall. It's probably the toughest fight that he'll have. Like, this guy's the next generation. He's a lot stronger, a lot faster. But I think Jon Jones is good enough to beat him. But it's like, it has to be worth it. The fans are fickle, right? You lose one fight, they're gonna, he sucks. Right? They just care about your last win or your last loss. I think Dana White and them will end up making it. Dana White's a smart businessman. He knows how much money that fight would make. If I'm Jon Jones, you've already done everything in the sport. It's not worth it unless it's that $30 million, $50 million payday. If I'm Jon Jones, I'm picking out Pereira first over Aspinall.
I got people in the chat calling me a duck. Meanwhile, I'm living my absolute best life. I don't know if it's considered ducking when you're living good. I don't think it works like that.
Tom Aspinall, I didn't read it. I told you guys already, we'll get Aspinall versus Jones done. Jon Jones versus the heavyweight fight will happen. Just relax. I'll announce that soon.
Jones, you don't know where you stand. Dana said it's the biggest fight in UFC history now, so...
Yeah, I've had enough talking about it, mate. I'm honestly bored of it. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll just see. I'm ready to fight whenever they tell me, so just let me know. I'll be there.
Everyone thinks you're a bit of like a quintessential good guy. Could we see a heel turn at some point in the MMA world?
We might do. Who knows? Who knows? I'm in with... I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I'm literally the most dangerous guy in the UFC if you look at the stats. When you put him in with a guy of my size who has them credentials at this stage in his career, I think Jon's a smart guy and he realises that, so he wants compensating financially.
When you say the Tom-Jon fight would be the biggest of all time, you're talking even bigger than the Brock Lesnar days at heavyweight as well.
Be the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history by a long shot.
When you look at that fight stylistically, right, as you said, Jon, still amazing, still incredibly varied attacks, great IQ, but it would seem that Tom's advantage would be in the speed. When you look at that fight, how do you break it down and how do you think that could play out?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't know what Jon's going to do. Jon's one of those guys that I was saying earlier has the highest fight IQ. He's like fucking Elon Musk in the octagon, okay? This guy is brilliant in there, and the things that he pulls off, like you didn't see any of the spinning elbows tonight that he does normally. He did all different shit tonight. I'm sure he sat down and watched Stipe's tape.
Every time I speak to him, he talks about you being his inspiration, you being his favorite fighter, you being the guy he wants to be like. He looks up to you with the utmost respect. I mean, I was just talking to him about you, and he adores you. He's in a tough spot right now. I don't know how much you follow, but he's waiting for Jon Jones. Does he move on? He feels like his career is being halted by one man. What advice, if any, would you give to Tom Aspinall, who I think is very frustrated right now because he thinks he's the best, but there's a guy holding him up?
I think Tommy needs to focus on the next task. I remember when I lost to Matt Serra, I was making the mistake of trying to focus on Matt Serra to get my revenge immediately. But I had a few other fights lined up before to get to that. And if he's only focusing on Jon Jones, and if Jon Jones does not come back right away, he's not focusing on the right thing. He needs to focus on what is next, the next path, because the rest it's a distraction, you know. And things that needs to be done will be done. You know, I don't know what Jon will do, but as a fan, I would love to see this fight. I mean, because in terms of legacy and accomplishment, Jon Jones is the best. You know what I mean? And I understand Tom from his point of view that he's a proud fighter. He wants to be the best, but now it's all depend on what Jon want to do. If Jon still want to do this, if he's compensated fairly, all that plays. So Tom should not focus on that because it's outside of his control, and he's wasting a lot of energy focusing on that. And I know it's very hard, but he needs to sort of self-hypnose himself to focus on the next thing and be hungry about the next task. And by doing this, only focusing on the next thing, he's going to build up his legacy, and perhaps one day he's going to be the great.
Career, right? Jon Jones wins the title in 2011, and from then on has fought more fights as championship fights than he has other fights. So he's the most accomplished.
I remember when I locked on to him as far as static strength goes, I've never felt anybody like that in my life. Here's one memory I have. I'm in his guard, we're working, he grabs both my wrists, and I kind of sit up for a second, and I can't release his grip. He literally scoots his ass out, pulls his ankles behind him, and stands up with my hands.
I want to be undisputed champ because I feel like I deserve a shot at it. That being said, I'm also a professional fighter and I'm not fighting at the moment. That isn't really my fault though. That's more to do with the UFC. They really, really want to make the fight with me.
Going up for a paycheck, you know, that's not the Stipe of old, you know, that was in his prime anymore. So, you know, I don't think anything special that performance. I think Jon needs to stop ducking Tom Aspinall, just like he ducked Nagano. You know, he ducked Nagano for years. Now he's ducking Aspinall. So he doesn't want to fight the guys he knows he's getting his ass whooped against. So I don't think anything special to Jon.
So I think if you look at Jon Jones' early career, right? Jon Jones wins the title in 2011, and from then on has fought more fights as championship fights than he has other fights. So he's the most accomplished for sure. Wins the title, the earliest, youngest guy to ever win the title in the UFC. Beats Mauricio Shogun Rua, who's a legend. And then the way he dominates all these other fighters, up until you get to Alexander Gustafsson, you could make the
Jon Jones fights happens.
It's got to happen. I was sitting next to Tom the other week at the UFC in London and talking to him about it.
How do you think that plays out if they fight?
I'll be honest, Tom's a friend. I love Tom. He's one of the coolest dudes in the whole of MMA. Even though Jones is getting old, I just can't pick against Jon Jones. The one thing I do think Jon Jones has got the best in the world and the best ever is his fight IQ. He has a perfect game plan to beat that person. As much as I love Tom and I want Tom to win, I couldn't pick against.
Sitting here, if you had to put your money on it, what do you think is the headliner of UFC 317?
If I had to put my money on it, I think they convinced Tom Aspinall to fight Cyril Gane.
Okay, that's.
I think if I had to put my money on it, I think that's the one that's being this far out. Like we're a couple weeks away, and
2 months.
Yeah, we're 2 months out, and I think that they'll throw a number.
Jon Jones that you saw will not be the Jon Jones that fights Tom Aspinall. Teddy Atlas. I had this conversation with Teddy, and I said, Coach, he's not missing. He's spinning around backwards where he can't even see the opponent. I don't think he missed a shot against Stipe. When I spoke to Tom said he was watching slow motion. He said, I got all the respect for Stipe, but he was simply too slow, and Jon was too slow. Not one of those spins, not one of those.
Had to put your money on it, what do you think is the headliner of UFC 317?
If I had to put my money on it, I think they convinced Tom Aspinall to fight Cyril Gane. I think if I had to put my money on it, I think that's the one that's being this far out. Like we're a couple weeks away, and
2 months.
Yeah, we're 2 months out, and I think that they'll throw a number. Like Tom wants to fight, and he'll be like, all right, I'll fight.
Is Jon Jones scared to fight you?
Yes. Jon is conning the public. The fact that he didn't want to fight Ngannou for 3 years and now he's not wanting to fight me for over a year.
Is that fight fucking happening?
The UFC are saying that it's going to happen. I think it's down to him and Dana.
Dana loves Jon Jones.
He's trying to grease up his ego.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Olin St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith, being like just another up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And Jon, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of him.
And the work that he's put in, or lack thereof, I think he could have a tremendous future in the UFC. But the only champion he's ever fought against or beat was Andrei Arlovski, who's way past his prime. So it's like you're beating guys who aren't even champions, and you consider yourself a champion. I would say the person that's most deserving, it would be Alex Pereira. Alex has beat many champions. He's knocking out everybody left and right. The type of fights that I'm looking for.